Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stories with Sapphire Live. I'm Sapphire Sandalo. This is the live stream that I do every single Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/Sapphire Sandalo. And then the next day I post it onto my YouTube channel. So if you don't catch it live, fear not. You can watch the replay the very next morning. Last time I decided to pull a card at the end of each stream. So it was a little thing for us to carry into the rest of our week. So I'll do that again. And also I think I'll start the streams now by I don't know, sharing cool updates. I feel like so much has happened to me this last week or so, and I'll share a couple things while people are joining in. But a reminder, everyone's always asking, hey, Sapphire, where do I send my own email and story? You can't, it's right here on the screen the entire time. Look at that. storieswithsapphire@gmail.com. It's so easy. Oh, someone's asking. I wasn't here at last stream. What card did you pull? I pulled the devil last time, which was just weird because I had just been talking about demons and how we're all probably summoning demons because movies use real demon names. Oh my gosh, sorry. I swear I don't have golden boogers. It's literally my nose ring keeps getting turned funky. Anyway, let's see. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. So, update time. I have had 3 dreams in the last week where I have either died or knew that I was going to die. What? So I know it doesn't mean I'm going to die. I think that it's more of a metaphorical death. It's kind of like with tarot, how the death card doesn't mean you're going to die. It means that there is something in your life that needs to die so that you can transform into a beautiful butterfly and live your best life. But the first death dream that I had was so wild. So I'm gonna share that because it actually, this isn't like, oh, I had a really cool dream. It literally changed me, and you'll understand why. So, I mean, this dreams are when our brain figures stuff out, and that night my brain just was working overtime. So, in the dream, it was understood that the world was ending, and so people built these really giant spaceships, to get on so that we could travel to other planets. But for whatever reason, we were not able to launch those ships in time. And so we were all just on the ship looking out the window, and we see this giant explosion, and we see it billowing out, and it's destroying everything around it. It's coming closer. It's getting hotter. And I start panicking because I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I'm going to die. This is the end. I can't believe it. And I'm panicking. And then my sister turns to me. She's right next to me, and she hits me. And she's like, hey, you're only punishing yourself. Relax. And I took that to mean, why are you spending your very last moments on Earth panicking? There is nothing you can do about this situation at all. Wouldn't you rather just enjoy your last moments? And as someone with extreme anxiety about everything, that was very profound. Those are very profound moment for me. And I realized, you're right. There is nothing I can do. Yes, it's scary, but it is completely out of my control now. So I surrender. And I remember I just had this wave of peace come over me. And the explosion kept getting closer and closer, and then I feel our ship shake, and I closed my eyes, and I'm just letting it go, and it feels really hot, and I feel us kind of like sinking into the ground. I don't know. It was weird. But then I felt like I was floating, and then I felt like my insides were expanding, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is dying. And then I woke up. Wild, wild, absolutely wild. But I think about it all the time because that is so true. I'm like, I I freak out about things, I worry about things that I truly have no control over. And so this whole week has just been me learning how to let go of stuff like that. Anyways, I thought that was really cool and I wanted to share. What was even cooler is that I woke up from that dream, and when I went back to bed, the second part of my dream, I'm pretty sure I met a spirit. I don't want to share too much publicly, but I met a spirit. Actually, no. You know what? Just know that something cool happened. I changed my mind. I don't want to share that. Hello, Wrath of Wrath of Pandasol. That's cute. Pondasol. Hi, I'm glad I'm home early enough to finally catch your stream. Hello. You missed my dream story. Go watch it later on YouTube. It's a wild dream. Anyways, I have very vivid dreams often, but that was the first time in a very long time where it felt really profound. And I dreamed about like my grandpa for the first time recently. I'm making progress over here. It hasn't been 2022 for a very long time, but I have leveled up in so many ways that I can't even begin to tell you all. Anyway, let's get into the stories, shall we? All right, reminder, I don't fully read through these before, so I'm going to trip up a bit trying to, fix any like grammar or trying to clear it up like in the moment, so please forgive me. This one's called Story Through the Park. Hi, Sapphire. This is a story that happened only half a year ago. Me and my friend were walking through Phoenix Park, a huge park in Dublin, at 2 a.m. We went for drinks for the night and we decided to have a walk home like we usually did. As we were walking and talking, I was telling my friend how I think I'm clairsentient and I can feel if there is anyone around us, letting him know we are safe in the badly lit area of the park. My friend was telling me how he thinks there's people in the woods behind, somewhat close to us. I was looking back at the spot, trying to focus on it, and then I felt like walking through an invisible wall of just freezing cold that made me feel very scared. And I told my friend, listen, there is something in front of us. I can feel there is something in front of us and I'm scared. My friend said he can't feel or hear anything coming from in front of us. I was very panicky about it, but I decided to believe him and think I felt something weird because of the drinks I had earlier. As we were approaching the exit, I was more and more scared. My friend, trying to calm me down, took out his bag of hairspray, telling me if anyone approaches us, he'll try to spray it in their face and try to scare anyone off by getting it in their face or eyes. I calmed down a bit, but just as we got to the gate of the park, I looked on the right-hand side at the bench that we usually sat on when we go have walks through the park during the day. On the bench, it's a fully white bench, there was an entity. There was something black, like just the shadow of a huge person that was not reflecting any light from the lamppost. I told my friend, this is what I felt, and we need to get out of here fast. So we left and never found out what that thing was. Thanks for everything you do. Whoa! This is from Daniel. Thank you, Daniel, for sending that. Definitely sounds like what you saw was some type of shadow person since it wasn't reflecting any light. My understanding of shadow people is that it's almost as if there is a hole cut out in the universe in the shape of a person. It may not necessarily be a bad thing, but a lot of people do believe that shadow people are malicious by nature and they want to take your energy from you. So it's always safe to not be around for that. But then other people believe that shadow people are merely just another way that spirits can show up. Who's to say? It depends. That's the thing about the paranormal. There's really no such thing as an expert because everyone's experience is so different. And paranormal phenomena changes depending on who is witnessing it too. So that makes it even harder to track and document because it's also different. Well, thank you again, Daniel. All right. You know what's weird? The name of that park was Phoenix Park. Phoenixes keep coming up for me lately. All right. Did I mark that as red? Yes, I did. All right. Next one we have. This one's called Human or Just Disguising as One. Ooh, that sounds spooky. All right. This happened a few years ago. I was around 13 years of age back then. I don't remember much from when I was younger, but this one night will probably haunt me forever. This took place a few years ago when I was in summer camp with my sister and two of my friends, Sarah and Carla. I met Sarah a few years before in the same summer camp, so we decided to go in the same camp again that summer. Only if we knew what was going to happen. What? Oh, sorry. This is what happens when I don't read it through ahead of time. Only if we knew what was going to happen. ... Carla was a classmate of my sister's, and they were pretty close as well. All four of us slept in the same room until one night when me and Sarah decided to go for a night walk around 11 p.m. So we went on the dark street that was lit up by one single yellow streetlight. After we passed the streetlight and got to the end of the alley we were on, we looked back. Believe me when I tell you, the street looked just like one from a horror movie. I was already scared, and I could tell that I could tell that Sarah was too. But she tried playing it cool and said, "Anna, are you really scared?" Scaredy cat. Seemed like that wasn't good enough for her, so she started talking about a monster that you've probably heard of. Ooh, can't say this word. The Schmimschmacher. A monster that can take a human's or animal shape and can also imitate their voices. While listening to her stories about the Schmimschmacher, I started paying more attention to the sounds in the background. That was when I heard a painful moan coming from behind us. I grabbed Sarah's hand and turned slowly around. We were already under the streetlight on that alley, but we could see a figure in the yellow light from the big street ahead of us. The figure did look humanoid, but his spine was bent weirdly and he was standing on his knees with his hands on the ground. He got up and stood there for a few minutes, looking directly at us. We couldn't move. We were too scared. He wasn't moving at all, not an inch. He stood so still, it was weird and incredibly creepy. Then he started yelling, "Help me! Somebody help me, please! Anyone!" Or something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but he was begging for help. For a second there, I thought he actually needed help. His voice sounded just like someone was murdering him. I swear to God, I have never heard such screams. But the fact that he didn't move, and his hair didn't either, even though the wind was blowing really hard. Sarah and I were both terribly terrified and had no idea what to do. And we saw some car lights on the big street. That was when the man looked in that direction and started running away. The car passed the alley we were on, but the man did not come back, so we ran back to the building where we were staying. We couldn't sleep all night. We stood up close to each other and we didn't say a word. I remember not letting go of her hand until my sister and her friend woke up in the morning. Now, me and Sarah are still pretty close, and we cannot remove the image of that man from our heads. But we haven't spoken about it until a few days ago, when I joked about how that man could have been that monster she used to talk about. But she wasn't happy with my comment and said, "What if we would have had walked near him to see if he actually needed help? Or what if that car never appeared? What could two 13-year-old kids do in the middle of the night in that situation?" She was right. What would have happened if I didn't hear that moan? What would it have attacked us from the back? I can't answer those questions right now. All I know is that it couldn't have been human. The worst thing is that I started seeing the same man in my room at night, above me, when I'm trying to sleep. He usually sits on his all fours. I'm scared and I don't know what to do. Maybe you can help me? Oof. This is from Anna. Thank you, Anna. So something that I have learned recently is there are lots of trickster. There's a lot of things in the paranormal world that will try to trick you. Sometimes they're demons, sometimes they're just entities, sometimes they're jinn. Different things will want to trick you for whatever reason. But one of the best ways for you to know intuitively if you're being tricked or not, like in this case, was that someone who actually needed help, or was it someone who's trying to, or something trying to lure these girls toward it to do what? We don't know. But the fact that you guys were scared, the fact that in your heart you knew you needed to run because something was off, um, that is our built-in safety mechanism. You're like, hang on a second, his hair would be moving if he was human, right? So already it's like we're wired to know how to protect ourselves. So in that sense, don't be. It's better to not be afraid. I don't know that I trailed off there, but I'm saying you have very strong intuition and you're fine, and there's no reason to dwell on what would have happened because you're both clearly very intuitive, and that will protect you if you ever run into it again. All right. What's next? Let's see. This is interesting. Okay, this goes to the theme of my dream. This is how I know I died, is what the name of this is called. Hi, Sapphire. I have dealt with a lot of weird situations in my life. A former coworker introduced me to your old podcast, which I stopped listening to after you left. However, that's not important. You asked if anyone else has ever died in their dreams. Well, I have died plenty of times in my dreams. But there was a time I know I died in life while I was sleeping. Though being me, I somehow managed to pull myself back to life. So here is the real story. Well, I think I died in my sleep and managed to pull myself back. I remember being in Glen, Flora. Somehow I ended up there. I remember having trouble standing, like I was on a hill that was too slanted. I finally got my footing and asked myself how could that even happen as the ground is stable. I started walking around. Did not really see anyone except 2 people. I started to wonder if the town became abandoned, which gave me this eerie feeling. So I went to grab my phone and realized it was missing. My wallet was there, but that was it. I'm like, I'm so effed. I started to get hopeless. I was like, why am I here? Why did they just abandon me here? Cannot believe this is going on. Suddenly, I start thinking about Alex and how he's going to react to this situation. I hear his voice saying, hello? I'm like, Alex, I need your help. I'm stuck in Glen, Flora. My phone is dead and missing, and I have no clue how I got here. He responds, how the F are you calling me if your phone is dead? I tell him that I just thought about him, and he responded. He tells me to go to some place and go downstairs to a room. He tells me that he'll be there soon. As I enter the room, I notice it's filled with all this computer equipment, hard drives, surveillance equipment, documents, and books. Not too big of a room. 3/4 wall across the room, so the room you kind of have this L-shaped entry area, then opens to a squarish room. There is a bracket-shaped desk with a monitor and computer on it, hard drives and documents spread across it. There are 2 books on the desk, couch against one wall, along with a computer chair next to the desk. There's one of those metal divider rails used at the theme parks and concerts to separate lines. This was touching one end of the couch toward the computer. There's a huge pile of black garbage bags. Behind it was an exit door to somewhere. So now you got an idea of what I'm seeing. I found it strange that all of this would be here, but I didn't question it. However, I decided to investigate the computer. I found a bunch of names along with symbols that I did not recognize. For some reason, I decided I better grab everything on the desk so I can go through it later. I found some garbage bags that were not used. Then I started to put the hard drive and documents in there. That's when I heard my brother John say, "Hey Nick, what are you doing?" I just took a quick glance and I saw him. He was standing by the couch along with some guy that I do not recognize. I responded, "I'm just putting everything in the bag and waiting for Alex." He asks me, "How long will he be?" I said, "Alex will be here shortly." He said, "Nick, we have to go now." I told him, "I'm not going anywhere. I had to finish putting this away and I'm waiting for Alex." John says, "Nick, it's your time. You must come with me." I look at him and say, "John, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. How are you even here? You're dead." He just laughs, as he would have in real life. He just tells me again, "It's your time. You must come with us." I sternly tell him, "I'm not going anywhere. I know you are dead, and I know what that means for me if I come with you. I'm going to keep waiting for Alex." John's facial expression was more of a frown at this point. He just sighs, and they both walk away. I finished putting everything I could into the bag. All I had left was to unplug the computer and put that in as well. As soon as I unplugged it, I woke up. I was severely gasping for breath, extremely dehydrated. My head was pounding so bad. I was literally walking drunk when I got up. I really believe that I might have died in my sleep, but I fought back to stay alive. This was my description of what happened. I sent that to a friend of mine afterward. Thank you for your time, Nicholas. P.S. To answer the question that is likely on your mind, yes, I do remember it. I remember some of the names and figured out shortly after that there were dates also included in the information. What? That's pretty wild. So you saw your brother who has passed, and he was in your dream, and that's how you knew that. You think that you were dead in that. Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna think about this one for a while. But thank you for sharing that. That's wild. Curious to know how your life changed after that. When people experience a dream death or, near death experience in real life, there's usually a lot of changes that happen for them. So let me know if you experience anything. All right. I believe our time has come to an end. However, sorry, I keep touching my nose. The end means that we can pull a card. Okay. Let's see what's going on. So this will be a message for the rest of the week. What should we think about? I usually like to shuffle until a card makes itself known. Oh, and one literally just fell out. All right, let's see what it is. What is it? Oh, tight. Okay. Knight of Pentacles. I was like, wouldn't that be tight if it was the death card? That would have been so appropriate. Cards, why didn't you give me the death card? That's okay. I'm not mad. Knight of Pentacles. Knights are kind of like the teenagers of the court cards. There's four. There's the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. And they all represent different phases of, I guess maturity would be the right word. So a page is someone who is very naive and immature, not necessarily in a bad way, just at the beginning of their journey of something to learn. So the knight is like when you're a teenager, the reason why there's that stereotype of teens being so rebellious and anti-establishment is because they're exploring the depths of their beliefs, challenging systems. Because when you're a kid, you your reality is told to you, and then you grow up and realize, wait a second, that's not necessarily my reality. And so it's a little like frenetic. Frenetic, is that the right word? And then pentacles. Pentacles relates to things of the earth. It could be money, finances, could be career, things that are like physical or, your body, things like that. So the Nine of Pentacles, I'm trying to remember, who did I assign? Aha, I do remember. Nine of Pentacles can represent someone who is a very loyal friend, or could be someone who has perfection paralysis. If you don't know what that is, it's when you are such a perfectionist that you are paralyzed to start anything because you are afraid it's not going to be perfect, so you don't even want to start. And a lot of people suffer, a lot of artists suffer from that. So Nine of Pentacles represents somebody who, look, like, they may take their time with things, but when they are dedicated, they are dedicated. So maybe Nine of Pentacles is showing up right now as a little reminder that, like, it's good to slow down this week. Slow down, really be patient, take your time, whether it's with a project, whether it's with a person. See, it's a horse who's like standing still. They're really thinking about where they're going to go next. So, yeah, let this be a reminder to just take it easy, guys. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a good rest of your week. I'll see you next Wednesday. This is every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/Sapphire Sandalo, and you can email me your stories at storieswithsapphire@gmail.com. And I will see all of you again later. Goodbye.